Panther Nation podcast. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Oh, cut it. Cut right. And I would like to introduce one of the hottest podcasts in Carolina history. Let's go. Yeah. Talk, let's chat. We got time to chop it up. Talking analytics and fantasy draft. You know what's up. Panther Nation representing, cause this is where we talk that. Talk that's so incredible. Make them rewind that talk back. Pause. Talking Panthers football, we discussing it all. On and off the field, you know exactly who to call. You know we the #1 podcast. Competition is non-existent, you need to stop that. Pause. It's an honor to be a Panther fan, pause. At Bank of America, that is where we ball. Coming to the jungle, then you gonna feel the pause. Winning the trophy for the city, it is the cause. Black, white, and blue, we going Carolina strong. And this is the conversation where everyone belongs. Discussing all the numbers and topics, you know we got it. We the hottest podcast and we poppin', let's go.
QueenCityPodcastNetwork.com.
Yo, what's cracking, Panther Nation? What is good, man? It feel like it's been forever since we potted, Dave. Is this
only been a week?
Man, it feel like it's been at least.
Well, you be out here doing morning huddles. I'm out here doing HBCU content. You know, we all doing other things around here in these streets.
We are. It's a lot going on. I felt like it's been forever since we potted together, Dave. I mean, I don't know what it is, man. But anyway, we here. We
are here.
It's a lot to talk about, Dave. It's a lot to talk about. But before we get into it, like we normally do, we got to get it cracking. How was your weekend, Dave?
Weekend was good, man. You know, this was my favorite weekend of the year. I went out of town for the weekend, a quick trip to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of chilled out.
You might well get you a spot. You might well get a condo or something in Atlanta, as much as you there.
There's one thing that has to be there if I do something like that. You know what that is?
What's that?
A job. And there's no job there. So I will be.
No, there's plenty of jobs there.
No, but like
don't have one lined up at the moment.
Something that fits for what I want to do.
Gotcha.
So
I'm sure they have that there.
And not in Atlanta. It's a little further closer to my home state. In Georgia, though, you know. But either way, man, it was a good weekend. I chilled out. You know, caught the games. It was wild card weekend. I only missed one game this weekend, and that was on Monday. But overall, you know, good times. Like I got a job. Matter of fact, it's crazy you say that. I got an interview tomorrow for my gig at my company right now. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow. But overall, you know, can't complain. And by the way, I'll look at y'all chat. I'm not turning into no Falcons fan. Y'all can go ahead and cash that out. That can't happen. There's some cities I can't be fans of. I'm not a fan of misery, so I can't be a Falcons fan.
But yeah, man, for me, nothing too much going on, man. Same old. You know, got to chill, relax. Lots of, you know, just the same, man. Just chilling. We just chilling, man. Ain't nothing happening.
Dance season over?
No, it ain't. We just getting started. This is about to ramp up. What you mean? We just about to get started. We got cheer. I got cheer going on. I had a game last week I had to go to. Busy with the girls, man. The girls keep me busy. But I wouldn't have it any other way, man. I can't be bored. I hate being bored. So
I'm still evoing. So it's, you know, I did add another tournament to the list. I got a tournament in May, June, and July now. So I'll be on the road once this winter goes away.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
So but yeah, man, before we get started, Dave, we got to give a shout out to the ladies of Zeta Phi Beta. Mm-hmm. It is their Founders Day today. My wife is a Zeta. And we have a couple listeners, I believe, that are Zetas as well. So we appreciate y'all. Happy Founders Day. Happy Founders Day to all the AKAs out there and the Deltas, because your Founders Day occurred when our show was not live.
That is a fact.
Shout out to all the Greek organizations. Everybody got their Founders Day off. I believe that about sums it up. I don't know when. With all due respect, I just don't know when the IOTAS was founded. I don't know theirs off the top of my head.
It wasn't in January. I'm very confident of that. I think the Kappas were founded in. I think everybody was founded in January. So I think the Kappas. No, the Kappas were founded in January. The Alphas was founded in December.
Alphas, Omegas, and Rose was founded in Rose. The
Rose was definitely founded outside of January. A lot of us was founded in January. It's like it's like everybody had this idea in the beginning of the month. Like, yo,
man.
Let's make this happen.
You gotta get the year started off right. You hit you know how you come into a new year and you want to reset. All your ideas come at the end of the year. And you like, all right. At the beginning of the year, we gonna get it cracking, and that's what they did back in the early 90s.
They said we ain't got time for this nonsense. Back then, last minute wasn't a thing. Like we get it done early and often. You know what I'm saying? That's what they did. You know. So shout out to all the members of the D9 that celebrated Founders Day.
Yeah. Shout out to all. Yeah. Shout out all the Greeks, man. Greek life is a fun thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. We support all Greeks on this channel, man. So shout out to that. We give everybody love. We don't hate on nobody. I'm too old to be having Greek beef. So shout out to everybody, man. Salute to everybody. Salute. But anyway, let's get it cracked. Dave, let's go ahead and get it started, man. Let's start with the wild card weekend. A lot of stuff, a lot of games. I called a lot of games. I was 5-1, Dave, on the weekend. Shout out to Carlo in the pregame podcast. If you're not down with the pregame, it joined us lit. Shout out to Vashti. Shout out to Carlo. Go check out the pregame podcast, man. It was fun. We called the games. I'm 5-1. Dave, how'd you feel? What was you doing? How'd you call them?
I got the Dolphins pick wrong. I thought
that one wrong.
Because look, man, I take risks.
And you had the nerve to call me out over my picks.
No. Well, I mean, look, the Eagles won, dog. There was no way in hell I'm picking Philadelphia.
Bro, you're gonna pick the Dolphins.
I picked Detroit for the Super Bowl, right? So I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. So I tend to take a little bit more risk. I thought that there was a possibility that the Chiefs could catch this fade. But what I probably should have done is change my pick when I saw that weather. But Tyreek Hill was used to it. The concern I had was Tua. And but you know what I learned over the weekend in Wild Card Weekend, man? Cam Newton was right.
Cam Newton was right. It's a lot.
Cam Newton was right. I definitely did not pick Dallas. Let me be clear.
I didn't pick Dallas either. I did not pick Dallas. Yeah, man. I picked the only one I got wrong was the Eagles. I picked the Eagles. I know they were struggling towards the end of the year, but I thought they would get it back on track, and that's apparently
that might have been the easiest pick I had. I knew the Bucs was going to destroy them dudes, man. I didn't even watch the game. I saw the score, and I was like, yeah, well, at least I didn't miss a good game. Because that would just be the Panthers thing to do. That's the Panthers thing to do. We let Baker go, and then Baker balls out of his mind.
Hold that thought, because I got some. I have Panther Nation. I have questions. And a lot of y'all might look at me funny when I ask the question. But hold that thought on Baker, because it coincides right with the general manager breakdown. But just hold that thought. We're going to get there. But, boy, I got some questions. All right. A-Cash says, as much as it sucks to be a Panthers fan, Wild Card Weekend was awesome. As a hater of certain teams, seeing the Cowboys and Eagles lose got me hype. If only the Chiefs lost too. Hey, listen, it felt good to watch good football. I tell you that, man. Like, as a Panthers fan, sometimes we forget like good football exists and good football is played out there. But man, the Detroit game was good. It was just a lot of good games, man. A lot of good, competitive, hard-fought games. And it's just good football on display. Good football was on display this weekend. And it just, some of that stuff, man, I'm sitting here watching these teams. I'm like, yo, they make it look so easy. Like, you got guys running wide open. I'm like, why can't we get
But the Cowboys had everybody looking wide open, though. And we're going to talk about that, too. At some point, I'm going to slip that in.
Pause. Hey, yo.
Pause.
Come on, Dave. Flagrant.
Pause.
Hey, yo. What you mean, though? What you getting at? I don't understand where you're going.
Folks out here talking about Dan Quinn. I'm like, no.
Oh, yeah. Dan Quinn, that defense got slaughtered, bro. We're not talking about coaches. We're not
talking about coaches.
Just GMs.
That's fine. I'm just going to say it again. No.
Yeah.
But shout out, since we're talking about GMs, shout out to Brad Holmes, North Carolina A&T alumnus.
Shout out to Brad Holmes, man. Aggie pride to Brad Holmes.
That's right. That's
he got
right,
me
son.
hype at the elevator clip. And
Dog.
bro, that was dope, man. Aggie pride to Brad Holmes, bro.
Let me tell you something.
We
that
are
man
going to
built
talk
that
about
team.
that, though. We are.
That
Yeah,
man
we're
built
going to
that
talk
team.
about that. We're going to talk about that, Dave. Hold that thought as well. We're going to talk about when it comes to general manager breakdowns. We're going to talk about that. But yeah, man, just a great games, great football was played, good defense. I'm just watching, like, you watch the Bucs game and you see guys just running wide open, and it's like, man, why can't we get that? Like, why can't we get some guys running wide open, and some yakage? Like, I saw so much yak in that game. I'm like, what? I forgot what yak looks like, bro. That's how bad our offense has been all year. I forgot what yak looks like, bro. It's been bad. Helen Keller's dog says, "What's good, guys? Hope y'all are well. Now with the Bucs getting that win, how we feeling about Canellis as our possible head coach? Dude making QBs like Baker and Geno Smith have comeback seasons, bro. We not talking about coaches today, but I'm gonna give y'all a quick sneak peek. Canellis is in my top 3. Spoiler alert.
He was already in mine.
Canellis is in my top 3, and I'm going to go back to the GM. And once we get to that, let's go ahead and get right to it. Because I got questions, Dave.
Let's go.
I got questions, Dave.
Let's go.
I got questions for Panther Nation. Because, you know what we did, Dave. When something goes bad here in Carolinas, like, we immediately, the GM sucks. The GM, Scott Fitterer, trash. His draft sucks. He's responsible for all these quarterbacks, and they all are trash. Scott Fitterer, you got to go. But Baker was just here last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we just saw Baker do his thug thizzle against, not all season long. Baker has cooked. So which is it, Dave? Is it the GM's fault that we can't get the best out of the guys he brings to Carolina? Or are we going to put the blame where it needs to go? I got questions, Dave. I got questions. Is it really the GM's fault? And you got to sit back and wonder why Scott Fitterer hung around so long. And I told y'all, as soon as Scott Fitterer was fired, I told y'all I felt bad for him. I felt bad for Fitterer because he got a raw deal. Pause. Bro, he brought in guys. It didn't work out because these coaches suck.
Well, it's the truth. I mean, like, let's keep it a buck. Like, no pun intended. I don't care. But let's keep it a buck, man. Like, the best coach Fitterer had was an interim coach. And that's a fact. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The best coach that Fitterer had as the GM was an interim coach. Period. And we could probably give Wilkes some heat saying, because he had Baker too, but obviously it wasn't working at the time. And he made the executive decision to say we didn't need him. And he still won more games than any other coach during the Tepper era has done.
Bro, no, this is cap. Nah, he had zero say in hiring any coach. He didn't hire Matt Rule, and I highly doubt he had any input in hiring Reich. Completely disagree. He was given he was forced to work with Matt Rule.
Yeah, he took the job while Rule was here. Now I'll give my guy like a 10-game situation, even if he hired right. But then you should say, well, if that's the case, you should have fired both of them at the same time. Why wait? You know what I'm saying? Why wait? Clean house. If you're going to do all that. But, look, man, I've been screaming about coaching for a very long period of time. I think coaching matters more than what folks want to realize. And I think maybe because we were critical on previous coaches who actually had success, we don't know what good coaching looks like in Carolina, but Rule wasn't it. Reich wasn't it. I mean, it's obvious. We had that all-star cast of coaches, and we got 2 wins out of it. So there were decisions that were made that letting Reddick walk, that wasn't on him, bro. Like, let's not do this. You guys don't understand. Fitterer took this job on a bad hand. You can probably give Fitterer grief about doing that, but that's a whole different discussion. Fitterer really didn't have the ability to be the GM that you expect the GM to be. But I don't think none of you guys are going to be willing to accept that because y'all are looking at the wins and losses.
And ultimately, that's what it boils down to. It always boils down to wins
and it boils down to wins and losses.
When it's a bad product out there, you got to blame somebody, bro. So
I just remember the first time that Hurney got fired. You remember the story about how he got fired?
No.
Jerry Richardson asked him, based on the reports, Jerry Richardson asked him, why is this team bad? Hurney said he didn't know. He was fired the next day. He was gone. Rivera stayed. Rivera was safe. And then they ended up turning it around, and then they hired Gettleman and blah, 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 blah. But I say all that to say the accountability goes in certain directions depending on what the role of those people are. And it was clear as day when Fitterer got in. I think we know that Fitterer got picked because he had to pick somebody that had to work with Matt Rule. Because whoever was going to take that job wasn't going to be able to remove Rule immediately. You weren't going to get that opportunity because Rule had final say on everything. Tepper was forced to get involved in the situation.
Yeah. Shout out to Wade. Wade says, I believe Fitterer never got a chance to choose his guy as head coach. I believe that as well. And I do believe what Akash says here. And I agree with this. This speaks to my sentiments as well. Akash says, I do think Fitterer got a raw deal, but I also agree that we had to let him go. Yep. We need to start from scratch. I do agree with that. Completely agree with that. I'm 1,000% on board because you have to have guys that worked. Well, let me hold my analysis for when we go through these guys. But yeah, we got 11 candidates. I just got questions. We've seen guys leave our organization, they ball out, and we sit here twiddling our thumbs like, why that didn't happen here? And it's because of coaching. Our coaching situation is not good. Doesn't matter the personnel we have. This is why I get upset when you start throwing guys like Icky. Like it ain't worked out right. Well, Icky ain't been great. But has he had the best coaching? Has he been put in the best position to succeed? Our wide receivers, some of our receivers. I think Terrace Marshall could be better. Like I feel like there's so many opportunities. If we had the right coaching here, I feel like we can get more out of the players we have. Of course, we can upgrade some talent in some positions. Yes. Can we go out and get a true wide receiver one? Yes, I agree. But I do also at the same time think that we can get more out of the guys we have with proper and better coaches here in Carolina. And I hope that that's what happens in this cycle. We get some grown-ups in the building and some real coaches that can come here and develop talent. That's what we've been missing around here forever. We cannot develop anything. That's why our draft picks miss because we cannot develop. We've got to get guys that can come in here and coaches that can actually develop somebody.
Look, man, we had somebody. We saw it. We saw it last year. That team was a 180 when Wilkes took over.
Yeah, but that's not. We don't know that. We saw over 6 games. We don't know if
12
developed.
12 games.
Excuse me. Yes, you're correct. We saw over a small sample size. True development takes years.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you, but
3 to 4 years.
I completely agree with you, bro. But the point is that nobody thought that team was going to win 6 games when Wilkes took over. Nobody.
No, I agree.
Folks thought that Wilkes was going to walk in there and we were going to be taking our way to a number 1 overall pick. That's what folks thought. And now y'all like, well, maybe we should have did that. No. How about you understand that these players ain't trying to lose? And the schemes that we had wasn't working. And then somebody else walked in there and all damn near won a division. And that's why everybody had all this hope, including me. But
yeah,
they blew it all up. And I mean, they blew it all up. They found a way to blow it all up. And now we here, no GM, no coach.
I mean, Alex, look at that. You got 2 guys out of how many guys over the past 6-7 seasons? You can name 2 guys.
So we developed. Wait, time out. So we developed these 2 guys, but the coaching staff. Wait, stop. But the coaching staff that did it ain't there anymore.
Exactly.
They weren't there. Exactly. So what are we talking about? Remember, y'all wanted Rivera out. So like, there's one guy that might have had development since Tepper took over this team. One guy. You know who that guy is?
Who's that?
Derek Brown. Y'all would call him a bust too.
Derek Brown. That's the only guy we can look at to see that has shown true development. Like he's gotten better and better and better every year. That's what I want to see multiple guys do. I want to get to that point where we're seeing multiple guys develop into something. And we just haven't. I mean, Luvu, I'll give you Luvu too. Luvu has developed into a great player. I'll give you.
We didn't draft Luvu.
Ain't no yet. True. Ain't no
yet.
We
didn't draft. I'm talking about like drafting somebody.
Yeah, but he was undrafted, and you got to give him that. That's a true development pick.
No, that's fair. No, it's fair. I'll give the credit.
Yeah, we got to give him that.
I'll give him that
because he has gotten better and better and better. So I'll give Dave. You trying to take away the only 1 week? We only got 2. We can choose.
I mean, some people will say Chuba, but I mean,
I'll give him Chuba. Chuba's
fine.
Chuba's developed. I'll give you Chuba. I'll give you Chuba. I'll give you Luvu, and I'll give you Derek Brown. That's really it. Yeah.
There's other Browns that didn't develop, but I'll leave it at that. All right, what we got, Shad? Let's rock.
All right, let's talk
about these GMs. We got a lot of them.
To the GM candidate. It's 11 candidates we got to get into. Again, we gonna talk. We keep getting asked about Bobby Slowick. We're gonna get into the coaches later. This is just about.
Y'all worried about the coaches. Y'all need to worry about these general managers.
Ain't enough time in the world for us to go over everybody. We got to break this thing up. So we're going to talk about the GM today, and then next week we'll talk about the coaches if we got time, because things are going to move swiftly as soon as all these coaches are available to be interviewed. Right now, everybody's not. Some coaches are getting virtual interviews, but that doesn't really. It's the in-person interviews that really, really matter, and that can't happen until the 22nd. So next week we'll talk more about the head coaches. All right. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and talk about these GM candidates. Let me get my window shared here.
But while you do that, let me talk about Underdog real quick, because
go ahead. You good. Go ahead.
So guys, Underdog Fantasy, we got best ball going on right now. Last week they did the playoff. They started with the playoff best ball. If you had a rough week on wildcard weekend, I got good news. They have best ball now starting in the divisional round. So go to underdogfantasy.com and use the code PNP when you do. Sign up for best ball. This tournament's as cheap as $5 that you can do. And you can win a lot of money, ladies and gentlemen. Then you can do the pick'ems, where you can win some dough as well on higher and lower. So go to underdogfantasy.com and use the code PNP when you do. Thank you.
All right, before we get into everything, make sure you stay on the prowl, pursue your dreams, radiate positivity, overcome an obstacle, work hard, and love what you do. Always stay on the prowl, all right? So stay on the prowl, okay? That's what we do around here. Shout out to our Patreon members, patreon.com/PensionNationPC. MVPs, appreciate y'all. Franchise folks, appreciate y'all. And free agents, we appreciate y'all. Dave gave y'all the Underdog Fantasy look, so we're going to skip right over that. Let's get into it, Dave. General managers. Now, when we talk about general managers, let's really get into this, because it falls into 3 buckets, okay? Little teaching here, okay? For those that really, because some of y'all just be throwing stuff out there, but let's really dive into what types of GMs are out there, okay? So you got scouting GMs. Typically, the guys, they're scouts at heart, comfortable evaluating players at college practices or at games. And again, we see a lot of shift towards analytics. But at the end of the day, it really all boils down to scouting. Can you scout individual players, and can you develop said players? That's what the scouting background offers. Coaching, that's the dual threat guy. That's the Bill Belichick's, the Bill O'Brien's. It often fails, okay? That kind of situation often fails, right? You don't see it too often. You got your Jim Harbaughs. That worked out well with the 49ers, but again, it eventually fell through. But Bill Belichick's, the guys that have both the head coaching role and get the GM role, don't really work out too often. You don't see it very often.
But like, we've been giving Bill a lot of grief as of late because they decided to let him go. And let me tell you guys something. Bill was successful doing both. He was very successful doing both for a long period of time, and it fell through.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, it doesn't happen very often. There's some exceptional
Shanahan
cases
did
out
it for
there.
Denver back in the day too.
Yep.
Mike
But
Shanahan.
like the slide says, it's rare. And sometimes it doesn't work, but when it does, and you got a good situation like Bill did back in the day, it often sometimes
Parcells.
it fades out. All right, but then now you got the new trend, the cap and the slash analytics guys. Again, you starting to see it more and more often. Okay, crucial for sustained success, but there's often a lack of understanding of the excuse me. This it's often not accepted, right? So we're gonna talk about one candidate that kind of bump heads with the head coach at the time, right? And because we look at it from an analytical view, sometimes that don't rock with the scouting guys. Okay, so that's why some teams, the way they're structured, you have an assistant manager that does a cap role, and you have an assistant manager that has a scouting role. That's how the Eagles are set up. Okay, but sometimes when you get that analytics guy, it don't really mesh, and that's kind of what Tepper's an analytics guy, right? And sometimes it doesn't work well with
He's got to get everybody.
football guy.
He's got to get
right?
everybody in the room.
Exactly.
And he hasn't had that yet.
Again, there is some resistance from teams that are accepting of this, but you're starting to see it more and more often. It's starting to come up, starting to creep up. But again, you can never replace the football knowledge and the football guys. You got to have balance if you're going to go with a cap / analytics guy. It's got to be very, very important. Somebody says Raz Warriors, Rascal. Exactly. That's what you get. That's the cap analytics guys. There's the Raz guys, right? And that's kind of
That's what Rule used.
That's what the rule.
Whenever we draft, we drafted somebody, what's that Rascal looking at? That joint be like 9, 9.5, 9.8.
Yeah. Rule
like Amari Barno.
Definitely a Raz guy. Rule is definitely a Raz guy. Amari Barno, yeah, he was like the Raz king, like the perfect Raz score, and then he ain't played but 3 or 4 snaps. All right, so Eddie says, please talk about Panthers past GMs and where they fell on this board. I could tell you, Fitterer had a scouting background. He developed as a scout. Yeah, Gettleman has we haven't had a GM that's a cap / analytics. We haven't had that. Like a GM. We've had guys that held that role and have done that in the front office, but not as a GM, right? So we haven't had that. All of our guys have scouting backgrounds. And we've never had, well, that's not true. We've had Rule that had final say on roster decisions. So he kind of would fall in that coaching general manager role that we don't necessarily like.
Yeah, so Rule would fall there, but if you want to talk about the other GMs that we've had, Fitterer, Gettleman, and Hurney, they all got scouting backgrounds.
My man Rob said Fitterer had a yes man background. That's funny. That is funny. All right. So now that we have the lay of the land, let me ask y'all this. Let me do a quick poll because I want to poll this before and after. So Dave, take it for a second while I set this poll up.
So while you guys hop in the chat, I need you guys to start thinking about what I'm assuming you're gonna ask them what you rather have, right?
I'm gonna ask them, what they want.
Oh boy, there's 477 people in here. So y'all better do this poll. Y'all better do this poll because let me tell you something. But like I just want you guys to think about the GMs that we've had, right? All right, we had Marty Hurney, and we had Dave Gettleman, Scott Fitterer, Matt Rule. Those are pretty much the 4 we've had in this franchise. Oh, we had Polian before too, didn't we?
Polian, yep.
Bill Polian was a GM
I can't tell you. Yeah, I can't tell you what he was, but I'm sure he wasn't an analytics.
Let me check and see. Now I gotta go and pull up GM history but he's definitely not an analytics. He's far from that.
That's old school, bro. Start a poll. All right,
Let me see here. Let me tell you these. We had Mike McCormick, Bill Polian, Jack Busfusky. Well, no, general manager. We had Mike McCormick, Bill Polian. Dom Capers did both for a period. And then you had Marty Hurney. Seifert did both. So we've had folks who were just a GM, and we've had folks who did both. We've had 2. We had Capers. Capers did it for like a year. That might have been because when Bill Polian left, Capers took over. And then we also had George Seifert that did both. So there's your history. And George Seifert only before Matt Rule, he was the only head coach that didn't make the playoffs. before the Tepper era. He was the only head coach to not make the playoffs for us. And he was the head coach and general manager. So he did both. He drafted Steve Smith.
Shout out to Smitty, man. The guy.
Yep.
I gotta reach out. We gotta reach out to Smitty, Dave. We gotta give a season recap.
We should try to do a season recap. Because he ain't gonna
right.
see. I got rid of the green screen, so maybe he'll let me do it online, but I might have to fly down again. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll
Figure it out.
see. You've as many times you've been to Atlanta, I'm sure you could fit in a Charlotte trip.
I'm pretty sure I can.
All right, so we're gonna let that run for a little bit, and see what y'all want right now. It's a heavy lean towards scouting. Okay.
I'm assuming you linked
Heavy
it somewhere.
Yeah, it's in the chat.
Oh, it's pinned.
Yeah, well, it's automatically pinned.
All right.
It's a poll. So I'm gonna let that sit for a little second. So this is a good question. I got a question. Is there a limit to how many coaches / staff a team can have? No. And in fact, Philadelphia has one of the largest staffs, and Tepper likes that. Tepper actually name dropped Philly as a staff he wants to emulate because they have a large. When you look at their roster, they do it right. They have several. They don't have just one assistant general manager like we do. They have two of them. They have a cap guy and they have and more of a scouting guy, and then they both report to Howie Roseman. So that you can have it's however you want to cut the check. It's however you want to cut the check. That's a good question though. Good question. All right, so I'm gonna stop this. Let me see how many
votes we got.
I don't know how many. Here we go. We got 147 votes, Dave. That ain't enough. Man.
Nah.
Let's get to 200. Let's get to 200 votes.
Not with 477 people watching. That is not enough.
Check the comments. Let's get the votes up. Let's get to 200 votes. Because I'm gonna ask this question again later once you see the candidates. And I want to see how it changes. This is an experiment. Okay. While I'm here, let me promote some mods, man. Let me promote some mods. I'm going on mod promotion season.
Are we at 200? Somebody said 200, so we'll see if we got the 200.
We at 180. We at 180 right now. 182. Let's get it. We need a couple more votes. Let's get this thing going, man. And hit the like button too while you voting.
I'm about to go vote. That's not what I wanted to do. Ooh, child.
It said mods unite.
Let me tell you something.
All right. Well, 208 votes. So we good. We got the 208 votes. All right, let's go ahead and let me end the poll. 75%. 75% of y'all said y'all wanted a scouting GM. 13% said cap / analytics. 11% said coaching. I'm surprised 11% of coaching got that much, to be honest with you.
And just for transparency's sake, I voted for scouting.
I didn't vote. But if it's me, I'm rolling with the cap analytics person. I just like it. Again, that's just me. I like it.
I'm cool with the cap analytics, but
I think if you go with the cap analytics, you got to make sure you have a scouting guy as an assistant GM.
And even though we know, and that's the thing, right? We already have somebody that does that now. We got Samir. We already got a cap.
Samir's a cap. He's a cap guy. He's not necessarily an analytics guy.
I like analytics too, but I don't know if analytics will fix some of the things I've been seeing. We gotta get a scout. We gotta make sure we got.
I agree. I don't disagree. I would definitely, for the record, I'm not gonna be mad if we get a scouting, because that again, I just talked about us getting the guys, and then it doesn't matter who we get in the building if they're not coached properly, right? So you got to get the right coach with the right GM, and I think that's a discussion we got to have later, because I do have some connections here in this as well. So let's keep it moving. All right. So Brandon Brown is our first subject here. Brandon Brown, he's from the Giants. Right now he's assistant general manager, previous experience of a scouting assistant. And let me just go to this and just kind of tell you, because what I want to know when I'm researching these guys is, what is their claim to fame? Like, what are they being touted for? What are their responsibilities with their current team, right? And so if I go to the Giants website and I read the bio for this gentleman, it says this. He was instrumental in the 2022 roster renovation that enabled the Giants to finish 9-7-1 and earn their first postseason berth in 6 years. And then prior to joining the Giants, it says he spent 5 years with Philly, promoted to the team's director of player personnel in 2021, and then he oversaw the pro scouting department and did some crossover work with some college stuff as well. But Dave, I'm not really seeing tangible things of what he did with the Giants to get me excited about this. His claim to fame is a football solutions guy. Like, he wants to figure it out. Because he has a law background, and he's a business background. Excuse me. He's got a business administration background, entrepreneurship. I need to see some tangible things that you've done, and I'm not seeing it. Dave, what you think?
I don't know, man. I think he has a shot because he's been in the Philly room, but other than that, I'm guessing he won that chip with Philadelphia.
Yep, he was in the building when they got that ring. So shout out to him. That's important. I believe that's important.
So you know who else was in that room when they got that ring?
Right.
Yep. So I'm not 100% in on this one. Football solution guy. I'm good.
Fair enough. I get it.
Somebody said Rooney.
It's a couple. There's
there's
like
a couple.
It's 3 of them. It's 3 black people. And
it ain't just black people though. It's not. It's just minorities.
No, I'm saying 3 black people, and then I think it's another minority in here too.
Yeah, I'm good on this one.
All right, let's keep it moving. All right, next person we have is Mike. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but I'm gonna go Disner. I'm gonna go Mike Disner. He's currently the chief operations officer for the Detroit Lions, who are currently in the playoffs. Okay, Disner, 16th season in the NFL, 4th season with the Lions, and he was named in 2022. He was named the organization's chief operating officer after previously serving as a senior vice president of football and business administration. Right. So tangible things, Dave. What has he done? What has he done? And when I read this, Dave, this is what I want to hear. When I go to your team's website, how was your team propping you up? Dave, I think you're gonna like this one. Okay, bear with me as I read this. In 2021, Dave, in that offseason, Disner worked alongside principal owner and chairperson Sheila Hamp, president and CEO Rod Wood, and special assistant president, CEO, and chairperson Chris Spielman. That's a lot of people, a lot of important people he worked with, okay? He worked with them to reshape the culture and leadership of the Lions football operation, okay? The group led a broad search that resulted in the hiring of executive vice president and general manager, Dave, Brad Holmes, and head coach Dan Campbell. The newly formed group continues to shepherd in a new era of success with the Detroit Lions organization, and we just seen them get their first playoff victory in 32 effing seasons. Okay, so when you talk about tangible things, when you're in the room making those kind of decisions, that's what I want, Dave. That's what I want. What say you, Dave?
He's up there. He's up there, bro. Like, I knew about the whole committee, did not realize he was on that committee that selected Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. And I remember when they made that decision to bring them both in at the same time, and they were criticized pretty heavily about that decision, but it has worked out. They ain't had a home game since 1991.
Bruh.
Like, think about that. Think about that. We're out here, sitting here, 2-15, screaming it. The world's going to end. These guys ain't had a home playoff game in over 30. The last time they had a home playoff game, other than last weekend, the Panthers didn't exist. They didn't even get the franchise yet. Like, they were still just trying to get the approval to get the franchise. They ain't happened to 93.
So
like that puts it in perspective.
So just real quick, Dave, when we talk about the type of person he is and the type of GM he is,
He's an analytics guy.
He's not an analytics guy. He's more of a salary
guy.
cap and contract guy. So he manages the salary cap well. He negotiates well, and just keep continuing to read from the Lions website. He joined the Lions 2019 with an extensive background in player contract negotiations and salary cap regulations at both the club and league level. During his first 2 seasons with the club, he served as vice president of football administration, focusing on matters pertaining to the club's salary cap management, player contract negotiations, and compliance with the collective bargaining agreement. So he oversaw, Dave, and to your point, he oversaw the club's analytics efforts and financial strategic planning as it relates to player acquisitions and roster construction. So when it comes to just managing everything around the cap, the analytics, this is your guy. So he's going to fall in that bucket. Okay.
I approve this one. We hire this guy. I know a lot of folks want this guy because this might be the only shot to get Ben Johnson. I think that might.
So the question is. So here's the question, right? When you look at you've heard the buzz on the street is that he could be, or we could be hiring a vice president of football operations or VP. That would constitute as a promotion, right? I believe. I don't know if chief operation officer, vice president. I don't know how that works. Is that equal? Is that lateral movement? Would he decline that? I don't know. Is a general manager technically a promotion? I don't know how it relates to that, but just something to keep an eye on because yes, in each of these I have the connections, coaching connections. Does he have a coach connection? We all know that obviously Detroit has Ben Johnson. So when you bring them in,
there's another person they got too.
Together.
The DC, Aaron Glenn. I know you guys want an offensive guy, but Aaron Glenn has been playing pretty damn good DC too. Just an FYI.
But is he on our list?
I don't think we're interviewing him.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I'm talking about specific connections to guys that are on our list.
Got it.
We see that coaching connections at the bottom. That's guys on our list. Because again, I talk about this all the time, but I want a tandem that has worked together in the past. What's the point of bringing in two guys that just are completely different? They're two completely different worlds, right? Let's get a guy that knows how to work, or they work together, so they can at least be on the same page and they know kind of their own tendencies. You know what I mean? I think it helps the relationship. It helps move things along quicker. You know what I mean? So
I'm with you.
All right. So let's keep it moving. Next up, Ed Dodds. So we are familiar with Ed Dodds from last time we had this situation. Last time we interviewed, I believe we interviewed Ed Dodds. He is a guy that has an extensive scouting background. Extensive scouting background. Okay. So this guy is solid, a solid candidate. Nobody, I believe, of all the guys, he's probably has one of the best scouting records to date. Like, he's been around. He helped build the Legion of Boom. He's been out in Seattle for a while. So this guy, he's been here. He's been around for a long time. And I believe, personally, my personal opinion, with why he hasn't taken a job yet elsewhere is because he's waiting on the right position. He wants to be able to kind of choose the right location, right? And I don't think any of the prior interviews he's taken so far are the right spots for him. So I believe that's why he's hanging around with Indianapolis so long. So, Dave, what's your thoughts on Ed Dodds?
So do you think, is there any reason why he would even consider Charlotte? Do you think Charlotte would be a destination? Because if you're telling me the reason why he's been chilling in Indy for so long is because he just ain't got the right opportunity, there's a lot of openings, so that's why I'm wondering.
I do not know.
Yeah,
so my bad. If I'm wrong, that's my apologies. Mike says he has connections to Quinn.
Makes sense.
And Canales.
Makes sense,
yeah,
because Quinn would make sense because he probably was there in Seattle when he was in
Seattle.
DC.
Yep, that is correct. So my apologies. I missed that one. That's on me. That's my bad. So Canales and
so that means I don't want him. We're done here. We can move on.
Canales, but Canales is nice though. I mean,
if he's got connections to Canales, but we got other guys that got connections to Canales.
Yeah,
I'm more worried about the ones that have connections to Canales and and Quinn. I do not want Quinn. Let me be clear when I say this. I do not want Quinn.
Yeah, I'm good on Quinn too.
If Quinn
personally.
comes here, we're changing the name of this show.
Why
we're
you
gonna come
keep
up
saying
with-
that? What we change the name to?
We're gonna change it to something.
I don't get it. What do you mean? I don't get
We're gonna put a poll up,
name.
and we're gonna change that first P to a different. We're gonna change the name of this show because look, man, I can't sit through Dan Quinn. I can't.
Yeah, I'm cool on Quinn too. I'm with you.
I can't.
No, I'm not. I'm cool on that.
Nah, I can't.
I'm cool on that. All right, let's move on. Mike Greenberg. Mike Greenberg is the assistant general manager for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right at this moment. Okay, Tampa's in the playoffs. He's been around Tampa for a long time. Okay, let me pull up his bio real quick. Again, 14th season with the Bucs, and this is his first season as assistant general manager. Prior to his promotion, he spent 2 seasons as the vice president of football administration. After 8 seasons as director of football administration and 2 seasons as the coordinator of football administration. So what does he get kind of credit for? If you look at this, he gets a lot of acclaim, especially this offseason, working and helping the Bucs navigate a challenging salary cap situation. I think he helped re-sign Jamel Dean, Levante David. Despite the cap restraints, Anthony Nelson was another guy that they extended. So helped sign Baker Mayfield, who we all destroyed last year. He helped get Baker here. Defensive lineman Greg Gaines, Ryan Neal, Matt Filer, running back Chase Edmonds, and Chase McLaughlin. Those are who they attribute him credit to him help bringing in. So, Dave, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on Mike Greenberg?
Somebody said no. I was like, well, I mean, if you guys like Canales, this might be an opening if need be. He falls into the Dodds category for me, or whether or not he wants to leave Tampa. Right? I mean, he's been at Tampa for a long time. I wouldn't be mad if we got him, but is he gonna bounce? Like, is he really gonna? Like, you talking 14 years? You said
14 years with the Bucs.
14 years with the Bucs. But like, if we're out here saying it's gonna be based on the coaching connection, and a lot of folks want Canales, then yeah, I mean, I don't have an issue with it. So this is an interesting one. I'll say that.
Yeah. They also give him credit for extending and negotiating contracts for Carlton Davis and Chris Godwin. I know Chris Godwin, that was an interesting offseason because they were almost in danger of losing him, and they ended up bringing him back.
Yep.
And also Ryan Jensen. So some critical moves that he made. But again, he's more of a roster management contract guy than he doesn't have really a scouting background per se. And it just depends what you're looking for. So again, 14 years with the Bucs. See, I look at this as a good thing, right? 14 years with the Bucs means he saw the lowly Bucs. He saw them in bad times, which also means he has a Super Bowl ring, and he saw it in the good times and what they're looking at right now, even after losing Tom Brady, right? So I look at that as a positive, to be honest with you.
It shows how much talent was on our roster too. For them to plug in Baker Mayfield in there, and they still won the division, and it got a playoff win. So you guys got to understand, man. There's more to it to getting this thing done. You got to decide who you want to give credit for. So
yeah, but it's interesting.
I don't have an issue with this one.
I see a lot of people saying pass. I
a lot of passes in the chat, bro.
A lot of passes on this.
There's a lot of passes. And the first thing I'm going to ask myself is, the guys started here, and the Bucs were bad, bro. Like, bad. Like, Jameis. Who else was here? Like, what quarterbacks did he have during that period? So, I don't have an issue with this one. I wouldn't be mad at this one.
Yeah. All right, let's keep moving because we got a lot to go through. Alec Hallaby. Right now, he is currently the assistant general manager for Philly. We talked about him a little bit earlier. He has a lot of experience. He's been around the game for a long time, 16 years. Keep that same energy. Because you just said you didn't like the other guy for being for 14 years. This guy was with Philly for 16 years. They ain't always been great. Okay. Go back to the Chip Kelly days. They ain't always been great. 16 years with Philly. He was named assistant general manager in 2022 after spending 6 seasons as the team's vice president of football operations and strategy. All right. What is his claim to fame? During his tenure with the Eagles, Halaby's focus on player evaluation, roster management, and resource allocation, with particular emphasis on integrating traditional and analytical methods in decision making. He's an analytics guy. I know it said roster management, but this man is an analytics guy. Goes back to Harvard. He's an analytics guy. Okay. He also goes back to special assistant to the general manager from 2022 to 2015. Player personnel analyst, etc., etc. So Dave, he also has a ring too. I didn't put the Super Bowl champion up there, but he does have a Super Bowl ring. Dave, connection to Brian Johnson. What say ye?
I don't want Brian Johnson. I can tell you that. Not about the offense I saw last weekend.
I think that's a bit unfair, bro. That's Sereni's offense.
All right.
It's very similar to Thomas Brown's situation.
I think it's Shane Steichen's offense. So I think they miss Shane Steichen more than we believe. Like, I didn't watch the game last night, but I did watch some Eagles games over the past month. And let me tell you something. That offense has been atrocious, bro. Matter of fact, I think we're not like in the past. I saw this stat. Shout out to my boy John. In the past 6 weeks, John Ellis, in the final 6 weeks of the season, the Eagles only have a 2-point differential higher than us. And you know how bad our offense is.
I said Sirianni, my bad. I jacked his name up.
Sirianni. But I think they missed Shane Steichen. I think Shane Steichen was the one that cooked that pot, and he went to go coach somewhere else. So I don't know if I'm cold on Brian Johnson. I'm cool with Alec Halaby, but I'm cold on Brian Johnson.
Oh, okay. I get it.
I'm cold on the coach. And there's no way he's been working there for 16 years unless he started at 12. My man looked like he's not even 30, bro.
16 years, bro. He graduated. He graduated from Harvard in 2009.
Oh God.
Yeah.
He was working for them while he was still at Harvard. Then that's the case.
Basically. Straight to it. I think he submitted his resume. I can't remember if it was him. I was reading somebody's joint. He submitted his resume to all 32 teams, and I think Philly was the only team that called him. I can't remember if that's a story for him or somebody else. I can't remember. Don't quote me. It's one of the GM candidates did that. But it's crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, shout out to Alec Halaby. I like him. I like him a lot. I think he's top 3 for me. He's top 3 for me. And I'm keeping my same energy. I like the analytics thing. I'm with it. So I'm rolling with Alec Halaby. That's just, I like it.
Somebody said he got some black in him. He might.
All right. Kai Harley, assistant general manager for the New Orleans Saints. So
this is the guy that's been fixing the Saints camp.
You already exactly. He is the salary cap wizard. He's the brain behind the operation for getting them dudes under the cap every single year when they're 100 million over the cap. You know what I mean? So he's also been with the Saints for 16 seasons, 23rd in the National Football League. His primary focus is contract negotiation and strategic planning and management of the Saints salary cap and roster management. In his 8th season, his current position, after serving as director of football administration from 2008 to 2013. He works in conjunction with player personnel department, making player acquisitions fit the salary cap structure. Yeah, so he's the guy, bro. He's the salary cap guy.
Yep.
Y'all know on the cap wizardry, bro?
Nah, dog. Yo, man, there's more. Look, at some point that magic ain't gonna work. Sometimes there's gonna be a day. There's gonna be a day where he's gonna try to take that rabbit out the hat. And ain't no rabbit in that joint.
Yo, my man T. Thompson is foul, bro. My man.
Yo, y'all can't do that. Y'all can't do that.
Yo, my man is foul, bro.
Y'all can't do that. Y'all out here putting out
foul.
Y'all could at least said naysayer. Like y'all can't be out here doing that. Man.
My man is foul. He said he even looked cheap.
That's terrible.
Yo, that is funny. That's funny, bro.
That's terrible. Y'all got to do
That's
better with
funny.
yourselves.
That's funny, man. But yeah, I'm cool on Harley too. I'm not the biggest Harley guy.
You did his job. You did his job. You did his job
Yeah,
in the past. You said, "Oh, this is
yeah.
what you can do
I
to get
played.
this."
Yeah, because I mean, if you're given the situation, you got to fix it. Ain't nothing you can really do at that point. The situation is what it is. I prefer not to get in that situation in the first place. So therefore, I'm cool on that. I'm good.
Bro, I think they're like 80 million over the cap this year.
Yeah, they always start $80 to $100 million over the cap.
Like I said, man, wizardry goes away. Or maybe you run into somebody that has better wizardry than you, but this is bad.
Mr. Dunkey Horry says analytics only show final numbers, but cannot forecast good coaching, player talent, and ability to learn and become better. I disagree with that a little bit.
I definitely disagree with that.
Yeah, I disagree with that a little bit. Analytics give you trends.
You know who you sound like? You know who he sounds like? Ron Rivera.
Yeah.
Ron Rivera.
They definitely can help you. Again, they can't. The ability to learn, obviously, can't help you with that. But it definitely identifies trends that can help you make better decisions with said information. So I get your point and disagree with part of it. But yeah. But anyway, Kyle Harley, let's move on.
Please.
Champ Kelly, Dave. This is another combination I like. Champ Kelly is currently the interim general manager for the Las Vegas Raiders. Okay, so the Raiders, they love this guy, and again, I think they should remove the interim tag for both of the guys they have right now.
That's a no-brainer. Like, I don't know why they're not doing this.
Yeah, they got players that's willing to get traded. Max Crosby wants to trade if they don't keep my man Antonio Pierce. So if they don't keep him, Crosby wants to be traded. So they got a lot of players speaking up in defense of Pierce. But this guy, Champ Kelly, who people speak very highly of.
By the way, shout out to Max Crosby, man, because that's an ally move right there. He did, man.
He did.
He went out there and was like, "Yo, nah, we got to get this brother to these streets," because he knows what happens next. He knows what it is.
Real quick, I got to give a quick shout out to Master Blends. Completely off topic. Master Blends helped me out with something today, completely unrelated to the podcast. So do me a favor, y'all go sub up Master Blends. Go to his channel, sub up. You got like 10K. You doing pretty good over there. Sub up to Master Blends. That's my guy, man. I appreciate you. But anyway, going back to Champ Kelly real quick. Let's pull up his little bio. Champ Kelly, before he joined the Silver and Black, Kelly spent 7 seasons in the NFL with Chicago, serving as the Bears' assistant director of player personnel from 2017 to 2021. After spending 2 seasons director of pro scouting, Kelly worked collaboratively with the Bears director of player personnel and college scouting director in directing both pro personnel and college scouting departments. Did some stuff. They ain't really. Here's what I want, because this is important. All right. Because again, we want to get into the nitty gritty of what is he attributed with? Like, what did he do? So during his 5 seasons as Denver's assistant director of pro personnel, the Broncos won 4 AFC West division titles. In addition, during his tenure as assistant director of pro personnel, the Broncos signed 8 veteran free agents that made it to the Pro Bowl. I repeat, in addition, during his tenure as assistant director of pro personnel, the Broncos signed 8 veteran free agents that went on to make it to the Pro Bowl, including 2 players, guard Luis Vasquez, 2013, and wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders, who earned their first career Pro Bowl selections after coming to Denver. What do we call that? Development.
When was he in Denver? He didn't get a ring? He must have left.
He left right before the ring.
Oh, that's brutal.
He left in 2024. That was
2014.
His last season. Excuse me, 2014. My apologies. Yes.
Oh, that's brutal.
That was his last season. Yep. But good guy, man. I was trying to look up what he did in Denver. In Chicago. There wasn't too much to tout from that standpoint. So I got to dig a little bit deeper in that before I go further with ranking him higher than Hallaby. but he's up there. He's up there for sure. He's up there on the top of near the top 3 for sure. Top 3. And then the word on the street, Dave, is that Tepper, the interview went, the Zoom interview went over the time that they allotted. So he likes the guy. The conversations were interesting. So I think this is one to watch. Champ Kelly, well liked around the league. Keep an eye on that one. Keep an eye on that one. Any thoughts on this one, Dave? Final thoughts?
Look, I like him. I'm not as hype on Frank Smith as everybody else is, but I get it. But I like him as a GM. I wouldn't be mad if we'd selected him. But like you said earlier, bro, I don't know what the hell the Raiders are doing. I have no idea what the Raiders are doing.
Yeah, they're wilding.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Like they if the owner, if Mark Davis wants to win now, better keep the guys in the building.
Yeah, and going back to the Super Bowl, he absolutely has something to do with
it.
Yep. I hope they should give him a ring because he helped build that team.
Yep.
So he absolutely had a lot to do with building that team and should get credit as such.
That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, no, it's valid. Very valid. Very valid.
Sometimes the guys that build the team ain't there when the team shows out.
Yeah, Hurney and Gettleman.
Mm-hmm.
Gettleman took Hurney's team to the. You know what I mean? So we'll keep moving though. All right, let's move on to Nick Mateo. Nick Mateo. Right now, he is the vice president of football administration for the Baltimore Ravens. When you see a successful team, you got to pluck from said successful team. Okay, so that's what the Panthers are currently trying to do. And I was listening to something with Smitty. This was one of his shows. I can't recall which one, but he was talking about the Ravens and how he helped when he talks about the way the Ravens organization is run and how they're built and how he's told David Tepper about some of that stuff. And you see that David Tepper has now integrated some of that into what we do as the Carolina Panthers, right? So like the whole Hall of Honor and the whole alumni network, a lot of that stuff came from the Ravens and how the Ravens treat their alumni. Okay. So now I think we're trying to take it a step further because, again, not only are we interviewing their current vice president of football administration, we're interviewing their offense and defensive coordinator, right? So there's a lot we're trying to pluck from the Ravens, and rightfully so. The Ravens are always competitive. Always. They're always competitive, bro. It don't matter who they got. They always seem to be competitive. I mean, so kudos
but
to them.
I have a very interesting question for you.
Shoot, Dave.
Their head coach is the constant if you want to talk about success.
True.
All right. They just switched their offensive coordinator recently. So I got questions. Now, these are my questions. And let me be clear. I'm not knocking Nick. I think Nick is a phenomenal candidate. Let me be clear. But if we're talking about the coaches under that list, I don't know.
It's a lot of like Mike McDonald lovers out there, Dave.
I know what they are.
I'm just telling you, it's that a lot of people love McDonald, bro. Monken, I'm with you. I'm a little.
Yeah, I might give grace to McDonald. I'm not giving grace to Monken because if Lamar Jackson wins his second MVP, he would have done it with two different offensive coordinators. I think that's more on Lamar. That's just my opinion.
Good point. Good point. So Nick Mateo, just a little bit more about him. He's in his 4th season with Baltimore. He oversees all areas of football administration, including day-to-day salary cap management and general roster transactions. Just some things that they attribute him with. He has negotiated the contracts of all 37 draft picks during his time since 2019, plus several free agents. He's worked with extensions with a number of key Ravens, including most recently All-Pro tight end Mark Andrews. He's also the Ravens' key liaison when it comes to NFL Management Council. So he's done some work there with the COVID-19. Did some work there. Okay, so they give him credit with the contract extensions of Kevin Zeitler, who's a guard, tight end Mark Andrews, negotiated contract with left tackle Ronnie Stanley, Chuck Clark Sam Koch. And that's pretty much all he handled negotiations for Marcus Peters. So yeah, that's pretty much all they have attributed for him. So Dave, what you think? The Lamar Jackson is not listed here. Lamar Jackson contract is not listed.
Of course. Now I compared to other candidates, he's cool. He's outside my top 3 though. He's probably outside my top 3. The more I think about it.
He doesn't crack the top 3 for me. He doesn't crack the top 3.
Y'all are hyping monkeying up, man. I'm like, he ain't been the OC that long. But either way.
Yeah. All right, let's keep it moving. We'll go to the next individual. It's time for some home cooking, Dave. Dan Morgan. We already know. We don't got to go through his resume. But he does have the scouting background. He does have ties to Canellis out in Seattle. So, Dave, what you think?
Are you going to clean house? Are you going to clean house or are you going to clean house?
So what? Okay, so good question. But what if we acquire or keep a guy like, or what if we hire a guy like Hallaby, and you want to keep him as assistant general manager for the scouting portion? What do you think about that structure?
I wouldn't be mad at that. I just I'm trying to we hired Dan Morgan. We hired Dan Morgan this year, right? Or was it last year?
No, he's been around for 3 years, bro.
Oh, so he's been around for a minute. He's been around for a run of the rule, literally.
A little bit.
I'm okay with it. Not my top 3 though. Shocked you didn't put Evero here. Technically, I mean, he's been.
That's true. I did leave Evero off. That's my fault.
And Thomas, even though I don't think they are interviewing Thomas Brown for this head coaching job. That's interesting.
And we let we've been blocking interviews for.
We let him go before.
We let him go get an interview with somebody. Go ahead and pass. Go collect 200. Get up out of here, bro.
For OC or for a head coach? Because I think he's
for head coach.
Well, no, I think you got to let them go for head coach.
No, is it? No. Is it? No, I think it was head coach. You're right. You
got to let him out. Right. You got to let him out for that. Now, if you told me he went out for OC.
He interviewed with Titans. He did interview with the Titans head coach. I think it was head coach. You're right.
No, I got my opinion on Evero. I would love for Evero to come back as head coach, but I don't see too many scenarios that could occur. I mean, if he's the GM, I can see it happening, but I don't know of any other GM that can pop in. Could potentially. There might be. Well, no.
What's interesting is though Dan Morgan hasn't received any other interview offers elsewhere.
So that means he can stick around. That means he'll stick around.
That's what's interesting. Yeah, I think he's gonna be around regardless who we hire. I think he's always gonna be. And again, especially if you're gonna lean towards an analytics or salary cap guy, you need a guy that can scout. And so that's why I think it's important you keep Morgan around.
Fair enough.
So,
yeah, you guys talking about Evero's overrated is the most hilarious thing on earth. Have you seen how good that defense was? Y'all are tripping.
All right, next up we got Samir Suleiman. So Samir Suleiman, we know he's the cap manager. He's got the experience with Pittsburgh going back there. Dave, what say ye? You good? You good on Suleiman as our GM?
Yeah, I'm good.
Me too. Let's move on. All right, Brandt Tilis. Again, this is he's in my top 3 for sure. Brandt Tilis been around Kansas City for a long time. Yeah, Jim Carrey for sure. But he's been around KC. He's been around, seen it from the bottom and seen it get better and better on their way to Super Bowl victories. Okay, he's a salary cap and contract guy. Does not have any connections. I think that's the uphill battle for him. Is I do think if you look, there's so many guys with connections to potential head coach candidates. I really think that's what you want ideally, and I'm sure that's what Sportsology is pushing to. Is hey, if you're gonna bring some guys in make sure they have some sort of working relationship in the past. The only uphill battle for this gentleman is there are no coaching connections, but he's done a lot with the Chiefs. Dave, what are you thinking with this guy?
This is where I like this guy too. This is where would he be in my top 3?
He's in my top 3.
Yeah, I think he'd probably be in my top 3. Him. I gotta think about it.
And he negotiated, unlike the other guy, Mateo from Baltimore. This guy definitely negotiated Patrick Mahomes' large contract.
Yeah, I think
which looks like a steal now. It's gonna look more and more like a steal every year.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so
yeah, it's because I probably definitely put Disney up there. Yeah, he's probably in my 3. The more I think about it.
Do you have 5 in your top 3?
I might have 4 in my top 3. I definitely got 4 in my top 3.
I got 4 in your top 3. I might have 4. I might have 4 too while we playing.
Yeah. I got him.
I might have 4 in my
Disney.
top 3.
I got him, Disney, Champ, and probably McDonald. I think I got those 4. Oh no, not even that. I do have 5 in my top 3 because the Eagles got 2. Yeah, the Eagles got 2. I got to think about this, man.
Yeah. All right. I mean, we can go back. All right, let's run it back because that rounds out all the candidates. That's all 11 candidates. But just to kind of
my man said Jim Carrey my number 1.
That's funny. So here's the list. Okay, just in case, just going back to that tier thing that we had earlier. You got your scouting guys and you got your caps. And again, cap and analytics guys, they're merged together. So you got some guys within this that are just cap guys, and you have some that are just analytics guys. Okay. So Dave, with this list, what do you got, man? What you looking at?
So basically, based on the vote that I had, and I was clear too, I said I don't have an issue with getting the analytics guy. Based on the vote that I have, Champ Kelly got to be near the top of my list. So he has to be in my 3 because I can't. I already said what I felt about Dobbs. I already said what I felt about Brandon Brown. And I already felt like Dan Morgan probably ain't. I think he's going to stick around regardless. So Champ Kelly would have to be on my list, which means I got to pick 2 off this cap analytics. But yeah, all you 75%ers, y'all got to pick 3 from that left. Like, y'all got to pick 3 from that left. And you know who's not now over there? Tilis ain't over there. Disney ain't over there.
So, shout out to Jared. Jared said, "Did we request Will McClay?" McClay said he not leaving, and McClay would have hit the top. He would have been at the top of my list of 5 in my top 3. Will McClay would have been at the top. I like McClay, but McClay said he not leaving, bro. He said he not leaving Dallas. So we might have requested it, but he ain't going nowhere, bro.
Yeah, I'm screaming because everybody now they're. Yeah.
Do I need to put the poll back up?
Yeah, put that poll back up because y'all got to reconsider. Because some of you guys put some thumbs down to some of these guys on this left. It's like only one guy you didn't put on thumbs down on, really. But the rest of these guys, y'all were thumbing them down, man. I remember y'all in these streets. So all right, so my 3 is gonna be probably I got to be consistent. So Champ, Tilis, and I'm gonna say Disney. I like what happened in Detroit. Those are the 3 I'm rolling with. And my other the other part, the other 2, the other 5 would be Hallaby and Greenberg. So that would be the 5. Those are my 5 in the top 3. So I'm looking to see what you guys are out here talking about. You put the poll back up?
Not yet. I'm typing it up.
75% of you guys said y'all wanted a scout. Well, I mean, when we talk about coaching, the only person I think, are we going to bring Bill Belichick in? Because he would fit under the coaching bill.
I don't know, bro. I have not seen. I saw he interviewed with Atlanta
Falcons,
but that's it. That's all I've seen. All right, poll is back up now. Check the chat.
Somebody said they said cap guy. There's only 13% of y'all to pick the cap, so
So here, let me round out my top 3. Let me see if I can actually narrow it to 3 because it's tough. Man, that's tough. It's tough. I got like 6 in my top 3.
I got 5. I have 5. I'm rolling Kelly. I'm rolling Kelly, Tilis, Disner. Those are my 3.
Is that in order? Because I think that might be my 3 too. But I like how.
Yeah, nah. Kelly's got to be first because I said I wanted a scout, so I got to be consistent. So that's fine. Kelly, Tilis, Disner's fine.
I like Champ.
You're gonna have to read analytics. I know you do.
I got 4. I got 4 in my top 3.
4 your top 3.
I got 4 in my top 3. I got 4 in my top 3. I like Champ Kelly. I like Brandt Tilis. I like Hallaby and I like Disner.
No Greenberg for you, huh? I can understand that.
I like Greenberg, but
if you can only pick 3, you can only pick 3.
Hell, I picked 4.
And you picked 4. You out here cheating. But
if I had to get rid of one,
yeah, if you had to do it, one gotta go. Maybe that would be the best way to do it with you. This is hard, bro.
It is hard. If I had to get rid of one, this is gonna sound crazy, but the only reason why I would get rid of Tilis is because he doesn't have a connection to any of our potential head coaches. I think that is really, really, really important. I think it's not a matter of a cap or a scouting, because I think you can get that. You can accomplish that. You can bring in some scout guys. You can bring those guys in. But to have 2 guys on the same page, I think that's what's really important, bro.
But I would argue.
Also, hold on, Dave. Let me get this point out. One last point. Right. Because we get into, should we hire the coach first or should we hire the GM first? Well, guess what? It wouldn't matter if you got 2 guys that worked together previously.
Here's my argument with that. Disner was part of a committee that hired 2 people that did not know each other to make it work.
Fair enough.
Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell had no connections, none whatsoever. And they led them to their first playoff win in over 30 years.
It's fair. Point received.
So
point received.
So for me, like when it comes to picking the GM, yes, the GM. If you're gonna pick the GM first, and yes, you're gonna let them hire the head coach. But if if the search firm that Tepper decides to roll with says, "Yo, these are the guys you need to get," and make them work together, I would rather Tepper do that. And if he goes with what the search firm recommends, then have us be concerned with some of the comp. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Some of these guys, I almost took off my list because of the coach that was under it. Like Hallaby did not make my top 3 off the fact that Brian Johnson is sitting there, and I saw enough to realize that they missed Shane Steichen. You know what I'm saying? So like I saw enough to be like, oh nah, because if Brian Johnson gets that opportunity, if they decide, we're going to bring Brian Johnson in, and y'all complain about the offense, I'm just going to look at y'all, and I'm just going to keep pressing this button. Because I keep telling y'all, I want a coach that's going to be, it doesn't matter if it's going to be offense or defense. I want somebody that's going to be able to put a culture in that room and lead those guys. Because that's what's missing. That's what's probably missing more than anything else. Development too.
So Dave, give me your what's your dream combination? If you had, because I like talking to y'all, that the people that say, just give me the best coach, just because y'all don't know what y'all want. You just like to say stuff to sound good. You can't give me exactly what candidates on our list that's gonna give you exactly what you're looking for. Don't just say, give me the best guy. That's what y'all do. That's what y'all do. Give me the best guy. Who's the best guy?
I'll give you 2 scenarios.
No, we want one. Just give me one guy. There go your balloons.
No, because what the hell do these balloons be happening? I never understand where these balloons come from. I'll give you guys 2 scenarios. All right. The first scenario
Your balloons are wilding, Dave.
Yo, I don't know where they're coming from.
I think it's your hand.
It might be.
Do it again. Put your
Nah,
hand
no,
up.
I ain't got time for this shit. I ain't trying to be out here experimenting right now. The first scenario for me, the balloons is killing me, is if we hire Disner and we're able to get Ben Johnson, and we're also able to keep Evero to run the defense. I don't think that's a realistic scenario. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I think Tabor will probably stay regardless, possibly, but I don't think that's a realistic scenario. The second scenario, and I know you guys don't like this. Y'all ain't gonna like this. I feel confident that to keep Evero, if we bring Morris in and let him go pick an OC, I think it'll work. But I know a lot of folks aren't a fan of Morris for some reason or another. You know, Morris has shown that he's be able to do a coach, and Morris has shown that he can coach on both sides of the ball, and he's done a phenomenal job as defensive coordinator for the Rams. So, and I think he can work with Evero because they've worked on the previous staff together. So I'm not too worried about that.
Raheem?
And I would love, Raheem. Yep. So, and I think you could probably put him with Disner. You could probably put him with Champ. You could probably put him with anybody in the top three, in my top three. Because like I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they work together, if they've worked together in the past or not. In my opinion, I think folks are worried about that factor, but there's more ways to skin a cat.
True, there are.
Absolutely. Like I wouldn't be mad at Slowick either. Let me be clear, but that's
he on the list, bro. Slowick doesn't have any connections that I'm aware of
to any of these guys. So think about that. So, he has no connection to any of these guys.
Yeah. So think about this. Like, imagine the combination of bringing in Tilis and Slowick. Like that. Just because they haven't worked together doesn't mean it can't work. Like Dave said, absolutely, I 1,000% agree. I'm not so staunch in my opinion that. I'm not open to other things. Like I think that in my dream scenario is give me Disner and give me Ben Johnson. Mm-hmm. That's my 1A combination, right? Then you start to talk about some other combinations that give me Slowick, pause. Give me
that's the thing with Slowick, right?
Canellis. Go ahead.
But that's the thing with Slowick, right? You just, at that point, you just get your number one GM and be like, all right, we just compare him up with Slowick.
Exactly.
Like it. And
again, you got to be fluid. I agree.
Yeah,
you got to be fluid. You can't be so staunch in your opinion that you're not open. Like I have what I prefer, but again, I'm not. It doesn't have to be a guy that they worked with before, or they haven't had to have a working relationship. It works, like Dave just mentioned. It works where guys aren't, as long as their visions can mesh.
Yes.
Like that's what matters. As long as it can work out, that's what matters. And we'll never know it until it actually happens. You know what I mean? So we won't know until it happens. So it is what it is. We got to trust the process.
So we talked about that.
Trust sportsology.
Yeah. We talked about the Detroit elevator speech of Brad Holmes. But Dan Campbell gave out 2 game balls. One to Brad Holmes and one to Jared Goff. Jared Goff got more playoff wins in Detroit than Matt Stafford did. Like, think about that.
Yo, bro. If I was a Detroit fan right now, bro, they gotta feel real
to
good.
The ceiling, bro.
And I know we sit up here and complain and like but Detroit, bro, they haven't won a playoff game in 32 years.
Barry Sanders was the running back.
32 years, bro.
No,
like some of y'all not even that old. A lot of y'all not even that old.
Barry Sanders was the running back. Y'all didn't know who Eminem was. Matter of fact, the last time the Cowboys won a playoff game, y'all didn't know who Eminem was. Like, y'all gotta. Last time they've been to an NFC Championship game. Let me clear that up because I know you guys will say you're wrong. But the last time the Cowboys been to an NFC Championship game, nobody knew who Eminem was.
All right, let's hit some of these super chats. We missed a lot of them. All right, so T. Holiday says people forget Raheem was a pass game coordinator under Shanahan. I'm good with Morris also, and also
receivers coach
background too. Also has a defensive background too, so he knows both sides. I'm not out on Morris. I'm not out on Raheem. Not out by any means. I'm open to Raheem. Jared said dream scenario: Disner, VP, Champ Kelly, GM, head coach Johnson, Slowick, Canales, Smith, or McDonald. I like that list. I like that order too. That's actually my order. I don't know about McDonald.
Wow.
But that's my order. Johnson, Slowick, Canales, Smith, Frank. Yeah, that's my order. Jared hit my order. That's my top 3 right there. Slowick, Johnson, Slowick, Canales, Smith. That's my top 3.
Look, man. So you're not a fan of Ebro being the head coach?
No, I'm consistent, bro. Every name up there is offensive. I'm consistent. I want an offensive guy.
Oh, well, you said 4 out of your 3.
I said I'm good. I'm good on McDonald. I'm not a McDonald guy. Yeah, I understand the rationale behind him, but I want somebody that's gonna fix Bryce. That's what I want.
Okay.
So I'm good with those. I like this list though, and
look,
that is
man,
a dream scenario.
Man, all I'm gonna say, listen, man. I know you're consistent, but I'm looking at this chat. I'm gonna remind y'all that we just had our offensive coach. Just want to remind y'all that.
It does. Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Just want to
right.
I even put up the numbers about the remaining head coaches and their offensive minded.
What is it like? What is it now?
Right now, with the remaining 8 teams, there's 4 offensive minded coaches, 3 defensive minded coaches, and John Harbaugh. And one of the offensive minded coaches is Dan Campbell, who's never called plays before.
That's interesting.
So he's more of a culture guy, but he was a tight ends coach, but he's never called plays before. So
that's interesting.
So when you put it in perspective, it's pretty much even.
Yeah, I mean, it's the numbers are the numbers. You can't argue.
And there's some offensive minded coaches that call plays that got out the paint. You want me to name some? Mike.
Yeah.
McCarthy.
Yeah, McCarthy, Mike McDaniel.
Yeah,
there's a couple of them.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that got out the paint.
Again, hey Dave, I'm open to being wrong, bro.
Nah, I just wanted to bring. I tweeted it this morning. I just wanted to give y'all that awareness. So like when y'all say offense, I know you're open, but I'm just saying some folks aren't.
I'm open.
So y'all be out here saying offense, defense, guys.
Ultimately, man, I just want to win, bro. Like so,
exactly.
If it's offensive or defensive minded, at the end of the day, I'm gonna support whoever gets the job because I want to win. I feel like an offensive guy could get us there, but that doesn't mean a defensive guy can't do it.
Oh no,
I just prefer an offensive mind, and the reason why I prefer the offensive mind is because of Bryce. Like I feel like we could get Bryce going with some of these guys on this list. That's why I think.
I mean, keep it a buck. Long term historically, defenses are ones that the defensive coaches are the ones that typically do it. Now, as of late, it's been more offensive, but you can still do it with a defensive squad.
What do you do? What do you mean?
Win the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you can still do it. Like I think we got the McVay run, the Andy Reid run, and we're like forgetting like no. You can still do it,
but
and it has been done.
Follow the trends, bro. That's where I am. The trends. That's how I come to my conclusions. But anyway, let's hit more super chats. I want 2 candidates to complement each other. That's kind of the same. That's where I was at with it too. Wade says have to consider that maybe the GM didn't necessarily like the potential head coach candidate they align to, and vice versa. That's true too. That's true. Maybe they don't gel. Just because you work together doesn't mean you have to like each other. So that's a good point.
You don't. And sometimes that might be the best way.
It's true. That's true. Acash says, FYI, I figured out how Dave and Shad's top 3 ranking be like 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, and 3. That's how they ended up with 5 in their top 3.
It's kind of like ties, facts. Like co-champions, just ties.
Yes. Everybody gets a championship. Everybody wins. Nivrash says, don't take anyone from the Eagles. No, I disagree with that. Also, Nivrash says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how mad would you be if we signed Dan Quinn or Mike McCarthy if either were fired?
I would lose my mind. I'll tell you.
Both?
Bro, I don't want either one of them. No. I don't want neither one of them. I don't want neither one of them. No. I'll lose my mind, bro. No, sir. Sir.
Let me see what else. What else we got? I missed a lot of super chats. Here we go.
Mike McCarthy might look like the next George Seifert. That happens though. Keep it a buck. If we hire Mike McCarthy and he come over here, brutal hours.
Oh, I got this one. So I think I caught up.
Yep.
Yep. All right, we're good. All right, I got him. So yeah, this is interesting, man. This is good stuff. Again, I'm excited. I think personally, I think we're gonna know who our head coach is before the month is over with. I think as soon as those guys, like, let's say hypothetically, Detroit loses, this coming
They're
up
not
weekend.
losing this weekend. I can tell you that.
Yeah, they got who they got. They got
The Bucks
the Buck. I hope they don't lose
in Detroit.
Go
Their
Detroit,
second home
but
playoff game in over 30 years.
go Detroit, but you never know, man. Bucks is hooping right now.
Nah. They're not beating. Nah, the Bucks ain't
Bucks
going.
is hooping.
Not in Detroit.
But yeah, man. So as this goes along and as these candidates start to drop off, more of them will start to interview. It's gonna be good. I think we're gonna know before the end of the year. Before the end of the month. I think we're gonna know.
Why is nobody not interviewing Bieniemy? I think we all know why nobody's interviewing Bieniemy.
Bro, y'all gotta let that Bieniemy stuff go, bro.
Go,
like
man.
it's done, bro.
We know he ain't coming here.
He got a body or something. He got a body. Let's just go with it.
Yo, stop, man. Stop the madness. I don't know why they're not. I don't know why. Well, I know why, but he didn't do what he needed to do in Washington to get warranted the opportunities that he wanted. He took a risk and it didn't work out. Simple as that. It's that simple. But nah, man, this is gonna be a fascinating couple weeks. I will say that.
So next week we will do the coach candidates. And again, there's a lot of guys getting interviewed right now, whether it's virtual. I think all interviews are virtual right now, and there can't be any in-person interviews until the 22nd. So it's gonna pick up here soon. So stay tuned. We're gonna break them all down. And again, everybody has the right to change their minds, right? It's not like we are so staunch in our opinions that we dead set in it. We have the right to change our minds on who we want. Right now, again, my dream combination is Disner and Ben Johnson. But again, there's other combinations that I like too. I like Frank Smith. I like Canellis. I like Slowick. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm not as high on Frank Smith as everybody else, man.
I can see why too. I get it.
I don't. We're out here trying to get guys who we think can do what the head coach is doing, right?
It's all a game of chance.
It's all a game of chance, bro. But like I in my head, I just believe that Mike McDaniel was that guy.
Bro.
So what am I getting?
Everybody said the same thing about Shanahan and his son, then McVay, and then McDaniel. Like everybody, like it keeps happening.
But
all these guys are hymns.
Washington had the monsters of a freaking coaching staff. Like those don't always.
That's what I'm saying. So like they've all been successful, bro. Like so.
So you know what that tells me? Why are we arguing here? We should just go get a guy from the 49ers. Because they've been spitting out head coaches too. We ain't really interviewing nobody from them. Well, actually, we had one of them. He's the defensive coordinator now. So, but my point is that the 49ers been spitting out head coaches. Like, literally. Mike McDaniels, D'Amico Ryans, Saleh, which I think got a raw deal, but he only going to get one more year left in the Jets at this rate. Like, they've been spitting out head coaches in San Fran. Like, bleh. So,
yeah.
But but I digress.
But all right, we're gonna get out of here. This is a great show. Again, coaches next week, similar situation. I'm gonna do offense, defense. We'll do like what tree they came from.
Slowick and Raheem was on that stat.
Raheem was on the stat. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yo,
it's crazy.
That is insane. How crazy that staff was.
Washington had a monster, bro.
Yo, them cats had the same staff that we got. But I know for a fact everybody don't know how they're not gonna be.
Yeah.
But oh my God. Yeah, man. Wow.
Yeah, man. But all right, we're gonna get out of here. Coach is up next. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell, get in the comments, man. It's a fun, good show. Same thing next week, and let's hope we end up with the right guy, man. It's time It's time for us to get back on the right track and start to win some games here, man.
That all-star
Wow.
coaching
Wow.
class went 3-13. Dog.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All them head coaches.
Well, we can say the same too. We just had an
15,
all-star coaching staff
baby.
and went.
Let me find out that
all
all our coaches just go like Thomas Brown becomes this monster head coach.
Everybody else that leaves Carolina does it. So why not coaches? Joe Brady doing just fine up in Detroit.
Buffalo.
I mean, Buffalo. My bad. Up in Buffalo.
Ever since he's taken over, that offense has changed. I'll say that. That offense got better since he took over as OC. Since Dorsey left, the offense has changed. Well, it's gotten better. I ain't gonna say it changed, but it's gotten better. But all right, man, let's shut this bad boy down.
Yep. We out of here, man. Like, subscribe. We got to get 23K, man. I've been asking for 23K for a long time. Hit that sub button. We out of here. We'll holler at y'all next week. Peace.